I'm kind of over these relationship questions. I'm not gonna lie, but let's jump into it. What makes a relationship healthy and satisfying to you? Well, I think at the core of it is like, can we allow each other to be ourselves? And I know I got issues with that. Like, yeah. Sometimes I'm like, what are you doing that? I don't like that. Change, be different. So, what makes a relationship healthy and satisfying to you? Sex. What else? You got anything else? No. Well, I gotta be like a little bit mentally stimulated, you know? So, that, what else? Like, what makes relationship healthy and satisfying? Well, both people like genuinely like each other, and we're staying in the relationship out of like growth or love or something of that nature, or some sort of shared vision. Or yeah, we're not like staying in the relationship because it's like, I'm scared to be alone. Like, that's definitely not in the equation for a healthy relationship. So I just want to say that there. It's like, if you're in a relationship and you're like, everything fizzled out, you know you're not happy, but you're nervous to be alone, or you know just done it so long you don't know, it's like, look at that. I don't know if you have any foundation, if you're feeling that way, to actually save that relationship and make it quote unquote healthy again. I feel like once you fall out of love, or you know, there you have that fizzle out effect, I think it's pretty tough to bring it back. But then again, I don't fully know, because I am not married. I've done like a 5-year long relationship. I ain't done like no 20-year long relationship. Maybe people in 20-year long relationships, they go through phases and stuff. I don't know. But from my perspective, and I'm already thinking like romantic, right? But healthy relationships in general, trust. Always got to be trust. If there's trust in the relationship, then dope things can happen, right? And even like some of the most coolest couples I know, it's like they have such a deep level of trust between them. Even if they fight, even if crazy things happen, it's like, I could trust that woman, I could trust that man, you know, they're gangster because of just how deep our trust goes. So trust is super important. And sex. Do you trust each other? Are you attracted to each other sexually? That's, as a man, that's what I got for that answer. And compatibility and stuff. I don't fully know what that means, but compatibility. Like, to some extent, you guys you have crossover in the things that you find interesting, and you have a crossover in your taste in some regards. And I keep reflecting on this, you know, what makes a healthy relationship, and I'm thinking romantic again. It's like, kind of, who sets the tone, right? Who sets the tone? Is it the man who sets the tone? Is it the woman who sets the tone? How is our nature in regards to this, right? I feel like me right now, it's like, can I just like grip that I am a man, and can I not have any guilt or shame for that, where it's like, part of being the man is I have a desire to penetrate, and can I have my dreams penetrate the world? Can I have my vision just live out into the world? And can I deploy myself to be like, I want it? Can I, you know, I'm single right now, so could I be walking up in the mall, seeing a cutie walking by, and be like, just beeline for him, be like, hey, what's up? I couldn't help myself, but you are gorgeous, and I have to say it was good, because I'm just there to be like, boom, seek, missile, I want, I get. Like, is that masculine? What is that, right? And it's mostly like, what is the masculine frame in there? Is it just because like, I want, I get. I know so many girls who are like, I want, I get, but it's like, are they penetrating anything? Are they providing any value? Or is it like, I want, I get, and my boo buys it for me? But I do know some hardworking chicks and stuff, but it's like, is that what I want? So, what makes a relationship healthy and satisfying? Well, any relationship, trust is the foundation. Do we trust each other? And then I do think sense of humor is important, for me at least. Do we share some sort of sense of humor? Is there awareness of this kind of like reciprocity, I guess is the word I'm going to say. Like, I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and we don't need to talk about it. It's not like, hey, well, remember when I did this and this and this for you, and how come you're not doing jack wagon for me? It's like, that all that's got to go. All that's got to go. You just got to be giving. And it's like, I feel like I'm over giving. all right, now I'm gonna pull my attention, pull my giving, pull my, now you get less of me. So it's got to be like that. I really feel like that. And so satisfying. Yeah, we'll go there because I feel like relationship questions, instead of just kind of looping and feeling like I've kind of fully quenched the knowledge from the question, let's just jump to the next question because I think this whole category is about relationships. We will get to the juice. How do you build trust with a romantic partner? How do you build trust with a romantic partner? I think trust just takes time and time under tension, right? How do you build trust with? I think there's some crazy stat out there where it's like it takes the average girl, I want to say 9 to 10 hours before she'll sleep with you. So someone fact check me on that, but that's a whole thing. So I do think it's just time, right? And I don't think you spend 10 hours with every girl, she's going to sleep with you and it's just like automatic. But that during those 10 hours, I feel like things get figured out where it's like, oh, is there enough attraction here? Do we share a sense of humor? Are we having fun? Are we enjoying each other's company, right? So how do you build trust with a romantic partner? Well, it's time. And then I also feel like when you go on adventures and you encounter difficulties together, that really shines light on, hey, is this someone I can trust, right? So how you guys emerge through difficulty together, and I think in the beginning, it's just time kind of getting to know one another. How do you build trust with a romantic partner? And then for me, do I do any crazy stuff? Well, no, but I'm constantly like listening kind of between the lines or listening for a layer under. Okay, you said that, but what does that really mean? And I do think there's such thing as like womanese. Like ladies have their own complete thing, womanese, they understand each other and they kind of say things that like they mean one thing, but they say another, and it's like I get all scrambled sometimes, like trying to I'm like, what? I can be a very direct person, like, oh, you said it like this, so I did this, and what do you mean I didn't do it right? So I've been kind of like staking back, and it's like thinking about me as a kid, and like playing on the playground and like that whole vibe. It's like we never took girls too seriously. Now I'm an adult. It's like every word she says is like gold. Like I better listen to my queen. It's like, what? How did that happen? What? I'm gonna go back to the playground superstar where it's like, yeah, okay, sure, lady, right? Like, with respect, like I'm, flaring it up a little bit. For some comedy, it's like, why would we ever listen to women? No, that's not what I'm saying. Women are crazy, amazing, intuitive creatures, but sometimes they do speak womenese that I don't understand. So, how do you build trust with that? Well, okay, this is what I'm saying. When I'm listening to them and they kind of start talking about their character and their past and what they like and blah, 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 it's like, I don't even got any examples. But I went out a few times this summer and it's like I was talking to some girls and then like right away it's like I'm picking up on things or the way they said things and I'm like red flag, red flag, red flag, and I'm out. I'm like not having it. And also, how do you build trust with a romantic partner? Well, part of the thing that I look for in the beginning with a romantic partner is innocence, and I don't know how innocence ties with my ability to build trust, but I feel like they're related. So I think half of it is, you got to pick how to choose them. That's part of it. Like, are you choosing girls that are trustworthy? And then the question is, and there's this whole, in the red pill community, the manoverse or whatever the hell they say. It's like, if she's had too many partners, then she's less likely to be trustworthy. It's like, I don't know. There seems like a little bit of validity to that, but the more like part that irks me more in that whole like number of partners, it's been scientifically proven that a woman will carry part of the DNA of each partner she's been with. So it's like, okay, there's probably some girls I slept with in the past and they now have kids. It's like the reality is their little kids, they might be like, 1% Casey, right? That's crazy. Well, okay, that might even be hot, but it's still like, whoa, right? And then it's like good, bad, who knows? But like me hearing that as a dude and I'm like, I don't want my kid. I feel like that's every man's biggest fear, right? It's like I'm with this girl and I got this kid and I question if it's my kid, right? And I understand there's like a whole different game because I got like a stepdad and he's cool and he came to my life at 4 and he knew like, okay, this dude came from some other dude, right? And then, but it's not like, there's some dudes out there where it's like they got their boo thing and then they got a kid and they're like, I got curly hair and I got a kid with blonde straight hair and my wife is a brunette. How the hell did this? You know, it's like, I feel like that. I feel like every man on some real stuff, that's our biggest fear. It's like, is my kid really my kid? Right? So, and that's all in this realm of trust, right? And so in a sense where it's like, you know, she's only kind of been with me, that's like, you see how that alleviates that stress. And, you know, I kind of feel like the girl who slept with, you know, just a bunch of dudes, I feel like she gets mad and then her immediate thing is, well, I'm going to go get validated by some other dick. So, by some other eggplant. So, like, that's what kind of irks me. It's like, okay, she's slept with like 40 guys or something throughout her life. Now we're dating. And it's like, if we get in one little fight or something happens, now I have to worry. It's like, well, she's going to be like, fine, you're not going to validate me. I'll show you. And then now, like, what? She's cheating. It's like, So, how you pick them, innocence. I feel like these things are tied in with trust. How do you build trust? Well, for me, I know trust is the foundation of any relationship. And while we're doing our courtship, spending time together, I'm looking for character traits, right? And, well, let's see. My last girlfriend I was with, I went on a few dates, and at the time, you know, my bankroll wasn't all that fat, and it was kind of like got brought up, I think on the 4 dates I went with, like, how much money do you make? What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And then after that, it's like the girls didn't call me back and whatever. And I was like, ooh, that kind of hurts, but I gotta get my bankroll up, blah, 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 whatever. And then I met this girl, and then we met at a music festival. She ended up flying to see me. And then while she was with me, like, I ran out of money, like $0. And so she was paying for everything. And then the week that she left, it was like the day before she left, I sold my couch. I sold my couch and I like brought my bed downstairs and I sold my couch and then I gave her the money from my couch to be like, thank you for paying for stuff. And I think it was like, you know, the total week expensive food, yes, everything, it was like $300, and then I sold my couch for like $250. I'm like, here's some money, thank you, right? And she even like paid for it. And I was like, I like this girl because it's contrast, right? I just been with these girls who are like feeling out their attraction for me based on how much money I have. And then I'm with this girl who's like, he's just cool, I just like him, I don't care right now that he doesn't have money, right? And that was refreshing, and there was something about that where it was like, I could trust her. That just like showed me that she was trustworthy. Yeah, so how do you build trust? I don't know. I just feel like you intuitively got to like scan the person and sort of figure it out like that. But it's also time, and I think time will make it easier to figure it out. All right, let's jump to the next question before I start looping. What beliefs or traits do you find toxic in a relationship? All right. Let's see. I remember we did some of these toxic. What do you find toxic in others? What beliefs or traits do you find most toxic in others? Here we are. What traits do you find toxic in relationships? Well, so it's slightly different and it's like the same, but I'll take the time to answer it. I was just kind of showing there it's a little bit of a duplicate question, but toxic behaviors or traits in relationships. I mean, the thing that irks me is this like not being able to take ownership of your fault in whatever thing happened. Like that's just it's just so annoying, right? And she's just like, I'm a princess, I can't do a single fucking thing wrong, and you upset me, right? And you got triggered. And it's like, come on. So toxic things. One, I think and I've had this issue before, and this is why I'm course correcting moving forward, where it's like, don't fall in love with someone's potential, just love them for them. Because I felt that I think someone else has fallen in love with me for my potential and not just who I was then. And I think this also creates a toxic environment over time, which is constantly trying to change someone. Because then I think they are left with the feeling of, you know, oh, well, I'm never good enough for this person. I think that just spirals badly. So yeah, don't try to change people. Can you just love them for where they're at? And ideally, it's like if you're on a war path for your own growth, evolution, development, or just wanting to actualize your imagination into the world, and that's your main key driver, and you know, just in that process of trying to bring my dreams made manifest in this world, I'm naturally going to become a better person, and anyone around me is going to be inspired by my actions, and they're naturally going to rise up too. So I feel like if that was my whole kind of boom, I'm an arrow, cool, you want to hop in, you want to, I'm open, and you want to chill in the passenger seat and, pick the songs and make some jokes and keep me busy and blah blah blah, or keep me entertained when I need it, and have like a humble abode to come home to after a day out there in the world trying to make my imagination a reality. It's like, that sounds cool. That sounds groovy. And I think in the past, like I was saying, it was probably a toxic trait on my end that I'm looking at, was like, let me make you my everything. Let me make your problems my only purpose for existing. Like that ends badly. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Figure that one out. Please don't do that. Don't build your life around women, despite how amazing women are. That's like, whoa. So, yeah, gotta say that. What behaviors or traits do you find toxic in relationships? It's just kind of like that whiny teenager, moody, bleh, bleh, bleh. Find that, is it toxic? Because I think all girls go through that. And it's not necessarily, I think it's just like taking ownership, I think, at the end of it, right? Like guys say, like, she's bat poo crazy, right? Like, what does that mean, right? And usually, like, where's the guy at fault for this? Because, usually we piss them off to where they're now being like, ah! So, what do you find toxic? Well, if I can't trust you, if you're lying, that's not gonna work. We ain't gonna have nothing here. And two, it's like, if you can never apologize, see your fault, or take ownership, and this is like the whole thing, it's right, I want a high value man. It's like, okay, say a high value man enters in your life, and you're this like, pretty thing that's caught as if you're 13, and because you're pretty, people always just do stuff for you. And now high value man enters your life, and he's like, these are the standards for my life. And he's like, what are your standards? I don't know if I mesh with your standards. Are your standards gonna raise? Because if not, I'm gonna go do me. And so I think that's part of, I want a high value man, I want a provider, I want this. It's like, usually those men, they're gonna have standards for how they vision their relationship. And it's like, he's gonna share those standards with you, or call you out where you might even say, oh, these are my standards, and you're not living up to your own standards, and he calls you out, and then you're triggered, and now you're all like, that's just annoying. It's like, just go somewhere else. I gotta go. Give my house back, whatever, however it unfolds. So, and yeah, we're human and everything, but I feel like I'm pretty good about taking ownership for, I'm also like this crazy madman who's like psychoanalyzing myself as I speak at live time, and it's like, I'm doing life review as I'm living life, and I'm like, can I pause that and like just do life review when I'm dead and just have fun? But I don't know if I can. I don't know. I'm addicted. Who knows? But I feel like I'm always kind of aware of like, okay, and I'm always like, there's a hard and my kind of perspective. There's a hard and soft way to do everything. And then I'll reflect. It's like, did I communicate the best there? Could I communicate a little bit softer, or should I have been more firm? It's like, I'm psychoanalyzing myself to be like, how did I handle that? If I don't like the outcome of what came from the communication, how did I handle that? Where was I at fault? Is there a different way that I could have approached it, or I want to try next time? It's like, these are just naturally how my mind works. And then when you're met with someone whose like mind doesn't work like that, then it's kind of like, whoa, what? And then it's like, whoa, not, and I feel it's just like, like, but also hearing all this, it's like not trying to change people, yada, 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 everything I said. And then I think part of my issues with me, here we go, toxic traits. And I kind of talked about my toxic relationship traits that I'm addressing in my life. And I think another one of them that I need to address in my life, and most men do, it's like, can I allow my woman or future woman that comes in my life, if I make her frustrated, can I be okay with that? Can I be like I said, not taking her too seriously? It's like, she's a little bit frustrated right now, whatever. Like, I feel like that's needed because, and I think my pendulum is swinging, right? Where it's like, oh, she's frustrated, I did something wrong, oh my gosh, I'm standing, let me fix everything, let me make it better, I'm sorry, love me again, how can I, it's like, ugh, bro, now my pattern of singing, it's like, I see, like, cringe, I was that guy, now I'm over here, boom, where it's like, you're upset with me? Okay, well then peace, right? Like, when you calm down and when you want to be a normal human, all right, I'll give you more of my time again. And it's like, baby, before that, it's like, look, this is how I see the situation. This is how I could have handled it better. And next time I'm going to do my best to handle it better like that, right? Here, this, I give you my apology, my presence, I want it, I'll hold space for you to feel felt and to express things, and I will do my damnedest to not get triggered or take anything personal, right? And then if she's just like, I'm not gonna say nothing, then I'm like, oh, you're being really annoying right now, so I'm gonna go, peace out. I don't wanna deal with this. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, please baby, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, that's been mean. And I feel like that's toxic, because now I'm enabling them to get away with being freaking not taking ownership, and then like me slowly like consuming myself and whatnot. So, relationships, toxicity. What does it all mean? Toxic. I mean, yeah. Well, liars won't fly with me. Liars won't fly with me. So I touched on some crazy stuff in there, but I feel like liars, that's the trait that won't work. And then the other thing that comes to my mind is like not being able to take accountability or like admit that, ugh. On the other side, like, what do I love? Words of affirmation. Oh my gosh, babe, you're so cool and amazing and sexy. Like, what man doesn't want to hear that from their woman, right? Like, you're just slaying it. Let's go celebrate you, right? Like, I think dudes would light up like Christmas trees if more women said that. But I do think men get lollygagged into just serving their boo thing. And then she's just like expects everything, right? And then it's like, now we're in a weird place. So, I don't know. These just, someone might be watching like, who hurt you? And I'm like, I don't know. This is just me. I've been through some stuff. I got my heart hurt. And then at the same time, it's like, can I just wear it right here on my sleeve? Just on my shoulder, on my sleeve, being like, yeah, I don't know. I experienced some stuff. I feel like I got some more discernment when I like and when I don't like. But at the same time, with all of this stuff, it's like, it's a feeling. It's a feeling. So I could talk all day, but at the end of the day, it's like that feeling. I know when it feels right. And it's like, yeah, I have all my boxes of, she needs to be like this. And but it's like, I don't really know. I'm willing to give all that up and be like, universe, greater world. If nothing goes as planned, always turns out better than imagined. I'm willing to allow the universe to blow my mind and to bring me someone, or I go out there and I hunt down someone or find someone who it gives me that feeling. And then I think from that, magic can happen. All right. How do you cope with heartbreak or grief from loss of a relationship? I feel like I kind of already talked about this one in an earlier question. How do you cope with, I think I was talking about loneliness, right? How do I cope with loneliness? Well, how do I cope with heartbreak or grief from loss of a relationship? Well, after looking back on my past, I think the best way to cope is to really just like give yourself the space and time to feel all of the sadness and anger and all of it. I think if you could just like literally cry it out, process that all through the nervous system, that's probably the best. I mean, but the coping mechanisms, it's like, man, you could turn into a smoker. You might go out and try to party and drink. It's like, I've tried it all. But honestly, feeling everything and then coming back to myself and double downing on myself and being like, I need to build momentum and be the best version of myself. I don't even think it's build momentum, best version of myself. It's like, okay, what do I want to see in the world? And what am I going to make that happen? Am I going to manipulate this reality with my hands to make whatever I'm envisioning happen? And is that like where my focus is? Where I'm like, I just wish we could cuddle one more day. It's like, And it's like, I feel both those things at times too. And it's just like, can I snap out of that and be like, no one is coming to cuddle you. You're a grown ass man. You gotta pick yourself up right now and do the Why are we getting a little bit of that camera glitch? I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm seeing it skibbity over here. Why are you skibbity? Where were we? We were skibbiting. How do you cope with heartbreak or grief? I recommend feel that, which is like the most scariest thing. And I'm someone who's just like, I gotta smile, I gotta be happy, I can't be sad. So then all of a sudden, like, heartbreak wave just comes and it's just like thrashing me in the bottom of the ocean. And I'm like, nope, it's not happening. It's not happening. I'm just pretending it's not. And it's like, bro, at some point, you just gotta accept that it's like, yeah, that was fun. And now it's over. And sad, weird songs, angsty teen music, coping with my loss. And I didn't even floss my teeth. So, how do you cope with heartbreak or grief from loss of a relationship? Well, just go back to focusing on what you want to make real in the world. That's, I think, part of it. And definitely talk to your friends. Definitely talk to your friends and give yourself space to just go all the way into it. And allow yourself to have it. It's like, if you feel pathetic, tell yourself, I feel pathetic. You know, no wonder she left me. Blah, blah. Like, have that pouty phase. Just fully give yourself into it, because it's not going to last forever. And you will snap out of it, but you will delay it if you keep denying that you feel these ways about yourself or the experience. So, that's what I got for that. Alrighty. What is your idea of unconditional love? Have you experienced it? Bro, I feel like, let's see. I don't know, can I search on this device? Alright, I really got to... Alright, I said it last different video. I'm not going to say it again. But I need to go through these questions, put them somewhere else, and delete the duplicates. And it's like, because I really feel like, what is your idea of unconditional love? Have you experienced it? I feel like I answered this question before, and like, because I'm on my CryPad, there's not a way to like quickly search how I answered that question. So let's just answer it again quickly. What is your ideal of unconditional love? Have you experienced it? Yeah. What's my idea of it? I think I've experienced it. I think we're always experiencing it, right? Is the fact that we're breathing, is that unconditional love? Are we stuck in a realm that just loves us forever? What is love with conditions? I'll only love you if, and that's like, don't fall in love with someone's potential, because then it's like, I'll only love you if. At the same time, it's like relationships have conditions. You know, love doesn't necessarily have conditions, but relationships do. So we got to kind of figure this out. Some ideas. What is your idea of unconditional love? I think it's just this like acceptance sort of vibe. Deep acceptance. I think when someone's just listening intensely without like a thought going through their head, without a want to reply or rebuttal, they're just like making you feel heard, holding space for you to get it all out. I feel like that's unconditional love, right? When they're just kind of like, I'm neutral, bro. You say whatever you want to say. Just let it out. Better out than in. I think someone who's holding the space down like that, they show an unconditional love. So what is your ideal of unconditional love? It has to do with this, be allowing another to feel seen or heard. And then, yeah, I just only have the new age way to being able to hold space. And that's really, and have I experienced that? Yeah, I experienced that. Especially like you go to Vilcabamba, Ecuador, you'll experience that. There's some real wizards there who are masters at doing this stuff. So shout out to all my aunts and uncles in Vilcabamba, Ecuador, that held space for me and, you know, allowed me to see deeper parts of myself. So that's what I'm going to say about unconditional love. Let's jump back here. What does loyalty? Alright, I'm getting frustrated. Let's come back to the camera here. Alright, I'm over her. I'm over here on my computer, and I'm gonna look this up. This is question number 66. and I'm just gonna copy and paste it and see if it's a duplicate. No, it's a 101. 101. No one has answered this question about loyalty before. Let me search just loyalty. There's 6 questions about loyalty. Oh, jeez. 23. How do you define loyalty and who are you most loyal to? And now we are sitting here at 60. What does loyalty mean to you and who are you most loyal to? I mean, it's pretty much the same. We just went from define to what does it mean. But let's give another answer, cause I don't even remember what I said for this one. So I got that going for me. But let's see if, you know, and the cool thing about this is, like, ideally some computer is going to process all these scripts and I'm answering different perspectives on loyalty, and it might be kind of fun. And also for me, it's like, clearly it's still a little bit ambiguous in my noggin, because I'm not like, oh, loyalty, boom, here's my one word dictionary definition. I don't really got that. So what does loyalty mean to you? Loyalty. Well, I think, is loyalty the same thing as trust? Is like someone I can trust. I think in a sexual relationship, we think of like loyalty as monogamy, but you know, it's like, okay, I have brothers. It's like what I say, all my brothers are loyal to me. And then it's kind of like, under what condition, right? And now, loyal to what, right? Under what condition, loyal to what? And is loyal, I think loyal has something to do with like keeping your word, right? What does loyalty mean? You know, can you follow through on your word? Your word. And there's different levels of this, right? Because it's like, there's things that like absolutely have to happen, and then there's things that would be nice to happen. And then I do think you lose, like me, I'm looking at my life and I feel like a loyal person. I'm like, if someone calls and you're in my inner circle, you're a family member, or you're just one of my closest, bestest friends, it's like, I'm gonna be there for you. I'm gonna get in my car, I'm gonna do things, I'm gonna make things happen, I'm gonna be there. Boom. And that's like, if there's emergency situations like that, you need help with certain things, that it's like, I'll be there. There are other ways where it's like, oh yeah, let's do that, or I'm going to do that. And it's more in the world of fun or wants, or not necessarily needs or emergencies. And then I don't always follow through on that. So I'm looking at my own loyalty, right? And it's like, you know, what am I being loyal to? Am I being loyal to my dreams, right? That's another thing as well that's coming up. So it's like, loyalty to what? And then once you have that defined, it's like, well, are you going to follow through on what you said? So that is where I'm thinking, who are you most loyal to? And it's like, my friends and my family. Well, and like I said, there's circles to this. You know, there's acquaintances, then there's close friends and family. And yeah, if they need anything, boom, I'm there. Let's take action. Let's make it happen. But like one thing of like, practicing what I preach sort of thing, or promising and then delivering. And I think it gets tough the more, it's hard to be loyal when there's too much ambiguity. Because my brother's like, let's make a website. And then I turn around, I'm like, yeah, I can make you a website, but for like what? Like what do you want on it, right? Like how do we do this, right? And so yeah. And then other people have texted me like, oh, can you send me this picture or this video or do that? And then sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, because it depends on like, all right, I got to dig it out of the hard drive, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's not like, hey, can you send me, you know, I got court tomorrow. Can you send me that document that's, you know, going to help me win my case? Like, usually it's different. You see what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, send me that picture. Or it's like, if I got the picture, I'll send it to you and I have the time and I remember and I look it up and blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, it's like, you're not going to die if you don't show this picture to the next person or whatever, right? So that's, I feel like, what I'm trying to say, I feel like I'm very loyal in emergency need-based scenarios with my friends and family that I deem as close, right? Or immediate. And then I also feel like I've promised things, because if this loyalty has to do with keeping your word, and I'm just reflecting here, if it's more of like a want thing, like, oh, I want that, or it's not like life-threatening, or it's not like a need, like, you know, survival's not on the line. Sometimes like, yeah, I'll take care of you, and then I don't follow through. So I want to be better about that, because I do think in other people's minds, every time I probably don't keep my word, even if it's something that I, in my head, is like, oh, that's just a want. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for you. Like, one, is that my own please disease, and is that something that needs to be confronted? And then two, if I don't follow through, then does that other person be like, oh, Casey's not loyal, or Casey's not, a man of his word, or what? I think it just gives me a bad rep. It's like, oh, can you send me that picture? And it's like, bro, probably not for a while. Like, I just gotta be like, yeah, I'll send you that picture. Yeah, I'm gonna, edit that whole video and then send it to you. It's like, I just gotta be comfortable with myself being like, no. And it seems like an easy thing, but it's like, and I don't need to explain myself. It's like, oh, send a picture, what? Like, shouldn't it be on your phone and blah, blah, blah. Well, sometimes I got camera, so maybe it's on my camera, and I got to get my SD card out, and then I got to go through it, and then blah, blah, blah. And then maybe it's in a RAW file, not a JPEG, so it's just not, it's like all of these things, right, could add up. And yeah, like, are you being respectful of my time in a way, right? It's like, we're not hanging out, we're not together, I got a whole day planned or whatever, and you want me to spend 20 minutes of my time finding something for you, and what do I get in return for it? It's like, can I just communicate that versus being like, yeah, sure, man, right? So that's kind of my evolution right now. And that's kind of how I want to talk, how I went. And because I guess why I brought all that up is I think at the core of what I'm communicating there is loyalty to the self. Can I be loyal to myself first? And I think it's like the second part of that question. What does loyalty mean to you, and who are you most loyal to? It's like, I wanted to say I'm most loyal to myself, but then it's like, no, I'm not actually most loyal to myself. And I want to change that. And I do think part of like, these little accountability cards that I've been following along with daily that I made for myself, I really feel like that's to build trust in myself. And it's like, if you say it and you do it and you follow through, then you can trust yourself. And it's like, if you can't trust yourself, who can you trust? If you can't be loyal to yourself, who can you be loyal to? And then I'm just kind of nitpicking myself because I find all these please disease sort of behaviors that might like seem small, and then I don't follow through, but it compounds, and then it's like, I don't trust myself. And just hearing that come out of my mouth, even though I was trying to be a little bit funny about it, it's like, ain't no girl trying to date some dude who don't trust himself. And it's like, that's the facts right there. That's the facts. So it's like, she'd rather have a brick case just be like, this is what I believe, full send ahead, okay, then, and even be wrong, right? So it's just like that energy, right? So loyalty. Working on being more loyal to myself, meaning keeping that word. If being loyal has to do with keeping your word, and loyal to what, right? What is the scenario? And then it's like being honest. Do I really want to do this? No. Okay, so then I'm gonna be like, no, I can't. Sorry. Oh, and like, honestly, yeah, I understand friends, and if they ask, but like most people, you don't owe them jack. You don't owe them nothing. So it's like, then I find myself always like, and I do understand over communication and blah, 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 but it's like, if we're not in a business together, I really don't owe you nothing. It's like, yes, I owe my employees, if I had any, I would owe them to train them good in a way. I would owe them to communicate exactly what needs to happen so that they can be successful within the given task. I owe that to them I feel like I do, right? But in a lot of things, it's like, you don't owe people anything. So why are you always like, trying to give away? Like, I don't know. You see, I'm going somewhere with this, and I'm getting a little bit lost in the weeds of it. But loyalty, keeping a promise to yourself, it's better to say no and then surprise them than to be like, yeah, and then not deliver. How does that go? Something about over delivering versus don't over promise and under deliver, under promise and over deliver, or something like that is important. And I'm zigzagging the quote in my right now, my noggin. So I'm gonna move on to the next question, because that's where we are. Ooh, this question hasn't been asked before. Let's jump back. How do you balance intimacy with personal autonomy in relationships? Oh, this is an amazing question. How do you balance intimacy with personal autonomy in a relationship? Honestly, this question, you're probably asking the worst guy about this, because it's like, I can be just a little intimacy, little slut. I'm just like, I want all the cuddles. I want to lick you from your toes to your freaking earlobe all day long sometimes, right? And then, yeah. So I feel like this has like been the core of, honestly, a lot of my relationship issues. Is there's some sort of lesson here through this question that wants to emerge through me. So how do I balance intimacy with personal autonomy? I feel like I've always chosen intimacy over personal autonomy. And that's why it's like, if this is intimacy, and I'm always going to choose that and compromise whatever, this, that, over, yeah. The only time that I was good at this was when I was president of the fraternity, and it was like intimacy here, fraternity here, and it's like, because I had this responsibility, and I have promises to other people, and it's a social responsibility, I would always choose this necessarily over the intimacy thing. I'm just like, sorry, it's just like, I have this duty, I have this responsibility, I have to fulfill on it because other people are depending on me. Then you pull that away, right? I don't have a social responsibility. And then there's just intimacy. And then it's like, can I be autonomous or responsible to myself and my own dreams? It's like, no, I just want the intimacy, right? So I felt, yeah, that's how I want to talk about that. It's like, I've noticed when there's a team, when there's other people depending on me, when I have responsibilities online, I'm more likely to follow through on my responsibilities and then choose intimacy. When it's just me, myself, and my partner, I'm more likely to choose the intimacy with my partner than focus on my personal autonomy of pursuing my goals. And I think it's because big, scary goals, but then when I'm with a social crowd and we're working towards something, it's like, this whole team player sort of energy. And yeah, let's see. What did it ask again? How do you balance intimacy with personal autonomy in a relationship? I don't have the answer. And I just feel like my pendulum is swinging, where it's like, I've been like lover boy, super intimacy sort of guy, pushing for mastery at that. And now I'm like, cool, I got that, whatever. The bigger thing is like, can I have that intimacy with myself? Can I nurture that? Can I be like, yeah, I got big scary dreams, but you know what? I'm addicted to working on them. Can I go deeper in there? So I'm like, I don't have an answer. I just see myself as like, yo, I've been overly intimacy guy. There was one time in my life, and that was because I had a lot of social stuff going on where it's like, I got to choose that. There's meetings and all these things, and it's like, it's going to look really bad if I'm not there. So was I being controlled by social perception? It's like, I care too much about how people will perceive me, so I have to go follow through on my duties. I don't want to overanalyze it. I just know it's easier to be accountable when there's a social group than when you're just by yourself. And that's likely somehow how all of this is going to turn into me productizing myself. I believe encouragement is a superpower, and this social accountability, I think, can lead to ginormous change. And in a lot of ways, I got to go on this journey for myself. And it's like, you can, yes, just be accountable to yourself, but helping others, it's like, hey, can I be that a social accountability that I never had, that I wish I had for you? That's like real big older brother stuff that I would like to step into. And yeah, but for me, it's like choosing my intimacy with my dreams over intimate. I don't have an answer to this, right? I'm still experiencing it, and only thing I could say is like, I hope that the pendulum changes, right? It's like, if I go out today and some beautiful girl walks into my life and we end up having an amazing night, she comes over, spends the night, drinks in the hot tub, you name it, the whole nine, everything, bedroom fireworks, all of it. It's like, am I gonna wake up in the morning and be like, I gotta do my power hour, I gotta hit my stat max, I got a video to make, you actually gotta go? Like, I feel like she would be turned on by that. Like, dang, this is a guy with mission and purpose. But me, I'd be like, let's cuddle, let's do this, can I make you something? How do you like your eggs? Like, am I still trying to be that Mr. like, let me, and it's like, am I being true to myself? This is like, and these questions are good because it's like the whole kind of chapter of my life right now is bringing that awareness towards like, where am I compromising myself? Where am I compromising myself? Where am I compromising myself? Or where am I not being loyal to myself in a way? And so these kind of things are making me be like, oh, it's not as simple as like, compromise yourself, don't compromise yourself. It's like in every little area of life, there's possibility for this. So that's, yeah. How do you balance intimacy with personal autonomy? I don't know. All I know is it would be beneficial for me to focus more on my personal autonomy. That's all I know, and that's where I'm aiming myself right now. It's like, regardless of what intimacy arrives in my life, how do I still put away time every day to be like, personal autonomy, let's make it happen. And I'm talking like real personal autonomy, right? Because, but I also understand like, oh, this is why people go to work and maybe you should get it. But because I'm thinking about my last relationship, and it's like, other people would be like, bro, what do you mean? You did whatever the hell you wanted. You had personal autonomy. But in my head, I'm like, I go to basketball, I go to a friend's house, I go to this. It's like always something social. But if we were home and it's like, do I choose like working on something creative or something that I want to give to the world? Or am I going to choose like doing something together as a couple? Most of the time, I'm going to choose the doing thing together as a couple. And then honestly, it's like, I'm always looking for that. And I feel like my partner was more like, I kind of want to just watch this rubbish, what is her name? Tana Mojo. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and watch that. So now I'm going to go do this work thing, right? So, and that seems like it's flipped, right? It seems like the man should be like, this is what I'm doing. If you don't like it, can we hang out in an hour or two, right? And it's just like, this is important to me. I'm choosing, well, and I guess in the beginning of the relationship, it's like full personal autonomy. Yeah, I'm just like, what's up, babe? Yeah, this is the house. This is how it is. This is the town. Okay, and now I'm going to go sit on my computer and research NFTs for the next 4 hours. So I know I'm saying all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I'm bad at it, blah, blah, blah. But I think if I push myself, I could find examples where I do this, but I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question, how to find that balance, and this. And I just feel like if you're constantly worried about it, it's gonna blow up in your face. If you're like, oh, am I craving intimacy too much? Am I showing her that I want intimacy too much? It's like, ugh, ugh. No one wants to deal with that guy. I don't, and I've been that guy, and I didn't want to deal with myself when I was that guy, being like, I need intimacy, please give it to me now. It's like, ugh. And that's part of growth, because it's like, now it's like, you gotta look back and you gotta make acceptance with these cringe versions of yourself, and it's like, japers, but how else do we learn? So, what else? How do you balance intimacy with personal autonomy in relationships? Well, where I'm at now is just, you gotta fall in love with your dream. You got to fall in love with your dream, and ideally that's the only thing that you're really kind of worried about, and then everything else, the universe is just dancing around that. If I'm so focused on penetrating this world with ideas of a better future for our children and the education system in which they're growing up in, and that's the only thing that matters to me, and it's like at all cost, I think I'm actually going to be okay, right? So yeah, we'll call that good to that question, but that got me thinking. That pushed me. All right. How do you nurture your closest friendships? That's where we at. How do you nurture your closest friendships? All right. Well, to be honest, like, I'm bad at this. This is another, like, don't ask. I'm bad at this. And I think the easy solution to that, and honestly, I'm thinking about my time management, check sheets, all this stuff. The easiest way is to just call and have a conversation, is how I would just crush at nurturing conversations and asking people what's exciting in their lives. I think just like in real life, that's what I do. But if, like, my whole thing, it's like, if I'm not seeing you, it's like almost like you're dead to me. And it's like not like that at all, because I still got a lot of love for you in my heart, and I still consider you one of my best friends. It's just like, I ain't seen you in a hot sec, and I'm busy doing, what am I busy? I'm busy reading Twitter and skibbiting around my house. So it's like, that's an excuse too. It's just like, call the people you love, Case. Boom. Pow, 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 pow. I had to slap myself a little bit. How do you nurture your closest friendship? Call the people you love, Casey. I'm talking to myself. You, sir, right there. You need to call me the people that you love. So yeah, my brother's way better at this than me. That guy, he's amazing. He's good at it. He's like, yeah. And me, I'm just kind of like, must turmoil and think about things and then completely forget that I have a whole world of friends, but yet I feel so energized when I do talk to my friends. So how do you nurture your closest friendships, it's quality time spent together, and you got to call and talk to these people. And I got to remind myself to do that. And then every now and then you can get by with some, quick text and blah, blah, blah. But a call me maybe. Okay, we grooving. What is your idea of a healthy and satisfying marriage or partner? Oh, geez, bro. What is your idea of a healthy or satisfying marriage or partner? What is my idea of a healthy, satisfying marriage or partnership? I feel like I've answered something like this, and then at the beginning I was like, ugh, I'm kind of over these relationship questions, because I feel like these relationship questions, one, make me think about my times with my exes, and I'm like, I'd prefer not to just be spending my time thinking about them. And then two, it's like, sometimes I feel like my most cringy moments of my life have been in relationship with my exes. So then I'm like, double whammy, I have to deal with this stuff, and I'm like, ugh. What is your idea of a healthy, satisfying marriage or partnership? Well, you gotta respect and trust. And also there's gotta be some sort of overlap and interest, things that you guys can find enjoyment in together and that you're excited. I also do think it's like, y'all gotta have friends. Y'all gotta have like couple friends, and there's gotta be like constant like activities and things to look forward to. Those are all important in marriage or partnership. Things to look forward to and get excited about together and to plan towards. There's got to be trust. You guys have to trust each other with like a lot of stuff, debatably everything. But also don't make that person your everything. So there's that. Which is kind of a paradoxical answer, and there's got to be respect, right? And I feel like you can have trust, you can have shared interest, but I also feel like the respect can disappear, right? And yeah, and I think it's more of a felt sensation, right? And I've questioned, it's like, yeah. And then, for me, it's also like we got to have an amazing sex life, but it's like if there's respect, if there's trust, if there's something to look forward to and that we're excited about, will the sex life just be an outcome? Like, I don't want to necessarily over pressurize, like, we got to have sex all, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and my friend said something really beautiful, which I got to remember right now, is sex is always birthed in the moment. We can't force it, right? We can't be like, one of us wants it, so I'm going to just take it, right? Well, we can, but at times it's like, how do we birth this? How does that deep, deep intimacy and just kind of sexual dance, how does that get birthed? And are we putting ourselves in environments or situations where we even have the possibility to birth that? So, yeah, and then what is required to birth a sexual experience is like, is it a level of trust, respect, excitement, laughter, things of that nature. I don't know where I put it, but I had written down, I think one of these things was like, what are your 5 values or whatever? It's like I can list them all right here, Curiosity, imagination, laughter. There's 3 of them. Trust. Oh, I said that a few times, but you get the point. What is your idea of a healthy, satisfying marriage or partner? And it's like we both support each other, right? I think I kind of fell into the spell of like, I'm going to find my boo thing, and then she's going to be my co-founder, and then we're going to be this power couple together, and we're going to change the world. And it's like, that might still happen, but I'm also coming to grips of like, I got to accept that she may not complete me, and I might go out there and change the whole landscape of education by myself or with some friends I haven't even met yet that are like not even like my sexual relationship partner, right? They're not my girlfriend. They could just be some Twitter bros who are like, I think like you, and then we tag team, and then we jump off the top rope, and then we put the freaking, we put Stanford in a freaking headlock. I don't know, but I have to walk regardless, right? And not pressurize like, where is my power couple counterpart? It's like, I'm gonna be me. I gotta be me regardless, with or without my power couple counterpart. I'm old yellering that idea. It's like, what if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. And it's like, how do you, I'm also thinking like in the world right now, it's like, there's Well, okay, back to the basics, right? If we have kids, kind of how I joked about this and still my idea, it's like my boo thing. I'm going to indoctrinate her, being like, this is how the world works. This is how I think of things. This is how I view education. This is the the lifestyle I'm imagining for my children. You know, do you like this? Dude, does this make sense? Do you see how this is logic? Or, you know, how do you feel about it, right? What are you curious about? What do you think is missing from this equation? What needs to be added? What needs to be taken out? It's like, can we even have a talk about that? Because in my mind, it's like, it's all about the children. Like, we're gonna create intelligence that's built from our genes, and you know, and we get to nurture them and all that stuff. That's kind of fun experiment. Like, let's take that with some seriousness, but also it's all rooted in play. So let's not forget that. But I'm gonna indoctrinate her so she can indoctrinate my children. And it's like, ideally now, what does that look like? Do I still have time to be, say, running around the world, meeting Twitter bros that I met that are also passionate about weird stuff that I'm also into, and we're forming unique ideas on how to, you know, make our imaginations become reality and then get paid for that? It's like, can I just like have my whole life be that? And then meanwhile, it's like when I'm out and about traveling and meeting people and trying to actualize that, it's like, can I come home to my boo thing and my little children and they're all crushing life, you know? It's like, do I want that? Or do I want it to be like, no, we have a nanny, and you know, because my wife is my business partner and we have to go and do everything together and everything is team and this, that, the other. I don't, like, honestly, she's at home with my kids, teaching them, like, that sounds almost, and I'm out, you know, trying to make things happen and bring my imagination into the world. Does that sound better than, like, you know, us, like, you know, Patrick and SpongeBob in the jellyfish fields being like, you know, let's catch them all? Like, and then what, like, the kids are with some nanny? Like, I don't know. Does that sound fun? It's like, well, we'd probably drop them off at Grandma and Grandpa's house instead. But it's like, are Grandma and Grandpa just gonna fill them up with seed oils and processed candies and iPads? My mom's gonna watch this like, you're literally insane. Of course I would do that, and of course it's not that bad for them. So, just teasing. It's just joke. We joking. No, but for real though, like, how do you want it? How does it feel? And it's like, half people already clicked on this video because they're like, he's gonna indoctrinate women. He's just like Donald Trump. Like, you missed the point. You missed the boat. Indoctrinate women. Now I'm triggered. What is your idea of a healthy, satisfying marriage or partnership? Right? I work, she stays at home. Like, that's pretty much. I'm feeling into that. It might work the best, right? And I honestly think, like, if I start planning for that, it's way better for my own personal story than the story I've been telling. It's like, I'm not gonna do Jack until she appears in my life and we build the kingdom together. It's like, because that's been my story the past 10 years, and it's like, your life is not where you want it to be because you're waiting for some woman to complete you, and then when that woman pops up, it's like, oftentimes her vision is not fully the same as your vision. She has her own autonomy and her own things she wants to manifest in the world. And then you're a baby when it's like, yeah, you don't believe in me because you don't want to help me. It's like, bro, she just has her own dreams and goals, and she was just born with them or whatever. That's her story. So get over yourself and start building. And I'm like, oh, whoa, that's how it works. So, geez, that was, I just got real with myself there. Whoa. A lot of that was just like, I'm like, oh, geez, okay, yeah, good reminder. All right. All right, let's get into the next question. Because I feel like I kind of sort of answered that question. It's like, it's changing for me. Ideas of a healthy, satisfying marriage or partnership. Those are my ideas on it. We went a lot of places, and really I'm just talking to myself about, like, me not being... What am I talking to myself about? Who knows? How do you keep romance alive in a long-term relationship? How do you keep romance alive in a long-term relationship? I'm gonna be completely transparent with this question. I have no idea. Got ideas, but have I lived it? No. have not lived it at all. No, I don't know. I feel like, to be very honest, both my long-term relationships, at some point, the romance fizzled out, and then it was like, let's break up because I'm not happy anymore. I'm like, I'm not happy. If there ain't no romance, I can't do this. No, I'm not gonna like be together and we're gonna be roommates. And we've gotten this far off track. I don't really, okay, and I gave you this amount of time or whatever, and I was transparent about it, where it's like, these are some of the things that I would like to see, and it doesn't get better, so I leave. And how do I keep that alive? Well, I feel like it's tied to all this stuff I'm saying. It's like, one, can I just be complete on myself and be pursuing my dreams and being like, this is what I gotta do. If you wanna come along for the ride, dandy. Let's giddy up and you're welcome to come, and maybe that will be better, because I feel like part of my long-term relationship is I get exposed. I get exposed for not being nearly as confident as I sound, and my actions don't align with my dreams, right? And so then I think because of that, my boo things in the past, they figure that out, and they're like, ooh, I'm possibly with a fraud, and then they lose respect for me because I'm not respecting my dream enough. And then I think the relationship dies out because the respect dies out, and it's all me. It's because I'm not respecting my dream and my abilities enough to be like, I can pursue this. And it's like, it's just on me to yeah. And it's too much of like, let me make you my everything, and you gotta help me do this, and if you don't wanna help me do this, then I'm gonna be a baby and I'm gonna be upset. And in the meantime, because like, I'm too scared to live my own dream, all your problems are now my highest priority, and let me just solve everything for you. And I think I've been killing my own long-term romance. So yeah, this is not the question for me. I don't have the answers to this. I have ideas, and my ideas pretty much around like pursue my dreams full out. And that's that. There is no one else is going to come complete me. I got to live a complete life, and through that radiance of me feeling like a complete individual, actualizing his mission and purpose here on this planet, that will attract another person who feels complete, and we will complement each other, and we'll be like, Jack and Jill going up the hill together, right? So that romance will always be there, because it's like, I'm doing me, right? Not like, oh, what do you need? Let me solve all your problems. It's like, I don't got time. I'm sorry. Call someone, figure it out. I got to go do this, right? Something along those lines, I think, would help me with this problem. And that's like, it's tough to actually say this to the camera, because I'm still holding on to like, what am I holding on to? I guess I'm admitting that it's like, over time, my past, I think that maybe I lose the intimacy because they lose respect for me. And then really, I think a layer deeper, that is like, how much do I respect myself? And there's one thing to, fake it till you make it, right? Pretend like, and there are ways in which I really much so respect myself and my ideas and all this stuff, but there are other insecurities that need to be overcome. So, I don't want to admit all that stuff, right? If like I was meeting a girl today at the mall, and she's like, oh, tell me about your exes. Why didn't it not work out? I'd be like, I don't know. I wouldn't be like, because she stopped respecting me. Like, no, right? It's like, might as well just shoot myself in the foot instead, right? In the mall, just boom, my toe is just gone now. Like might as well do that. But now it's like, I just did it to the internet. Like, geez, just committed dating marketplace suicide right now. Goodness gracious. But I ain't holding nothing back. Here we go. This is me being authentic. This is me swinging for the fences with these questions and being like, I better get an AI that's just like me out of all of this, because I had to go here. I had to go this place and admit to my camera that my exes stopped respecting me, and so I stopped getting laid. That sounds beta, and I'm like, but you gotta learn from it. So, all right, I said it. Let's move on. Let's not make it a bigger deal than it is. All right, that was question 80. So, do I end the video here? Oh, jeez. Well, here's the thing. I got 20 more questions. Dang, I'm in for it. I got 20 more questions in this like relationship section. And yeah, we've been recording for an hour and I answered about 10. So that's like about my usual time frame. And I think I'm gonna close this video out. But yeah, I got 2 more days of like this relationship deep dive, and yeah, it's making me uncomfortable because I feel like in the dating thing, it's like I want to feel like I'm the cool bad boy class clown, Mr. Fun Time, right? Like I want to be Mr. Fun Time, right? And then yeah, now I have to like talk about these things, and I'm like, but let's also be realistic. If I were to meet some girl today, like the chances of her, and we get serious, of her watching this video, I question how high they're gonna be, because also it's like I'm about to just spray the internet at some point, because think 1% of this challenge turns out to be an hour-long video, right? So at the end of these 1,000 questions, I'm gonna have roughly 100 hours of me communicating. That is like 24/7 for like 4 days straight, pretty much. It's like, but so maybe this one, this will go slide through the cracks. And I'm saying all this now, and it's like, this is gonna be the hit video or whatever. I'm like, James, why'd you post everything raw? You're insane for doing that. You should have polished yourself and made yourself look, like such a authority figure in your niche. And instead, you look like a whiny, crazy baby person. Ah. Is the whiny, crazy baby person relatable? Should I dye my hair a wild color? People are gonna be like, hey, I have dyed hair. What are you trying to say about me? And I'm like, don't take it so personal. Clearly, I'm coming to grips with something. Yeah, what am I coming to grips to? Well, I'm coming to grips to, I don't know nearly as much about relationships as I thought I did. That's just the reality. And I thought I was like, dude, I am like Mr. Don Juan Suavecito himself. And now it's like, bro, I don't know nothing. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm a tadpole. I'm a dating tadpole. I don't know nothing. I got lucky in the past, and I was riding on the cloud of just being obnoxious and, funny enough. And now, and the obnoxiousness to young girls was taken as confidence, and the funny thing was like, I don't know, it just helped out. And then now I'm like, gotta look at myself in the mirror and be like, times be a different. Who you gonna be now? And I'm like, I'm gonna be the guy who says I'm gonna be the guy with the AI, my own personal AI in my pocket before everyone else. That's what I'm gonna be now. Oi, 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 oi. Whoa. Yeah, so I gotta like figure out why, because I don't know, like I keep looking over here where the screen is of my recording, and it's like like glitching out, and I don't know if the final version, when I press like done, if I'm guessing that's also gonna have the glitches in it. So I gotta solve that. I gotta like unplug, clean, I don't know, figure it out and do that. But let's call it there. Like I got uncomfortable answering these questions today about the relationship stuff, because I think it's like, it just makes me self-reflect. It's like, dude, you're single, and it's like, dude, well, I'm also just a person who takes a lot of accountability, right? So I'm just like, and I guess that's the whole point of this, right? This is my wisdom. This is coming from me. So it's like, okay, where did I have fault in these 2 relationships? And like, whatever about them, right? Like, okay, you picked up on some character traits here or there, things you like, and like, besides that, whatever, I wish them well, they can go live their best life. But it's like, how do I get better? And it's like, well, stop making them your everything, and you are complete yourself. No one is going to complete you. So that's me kind of giving myself that one last hype talk to myself right there. That, you see, you, man, you complete, you, ooh, oh, ooh. And I also think as I get cooking, pew, 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 cooking, and kind of like that story I was saying, when I was president of the fraternity, it's like, I felt like I was way better at balancing my personal autonomy with my intimacy. And maybe it might have been like 60%, 70% my autonomy, my other responsibilities, and then 30% my intimacy. But when I swang the other way and I'm like 80, 90% only caring about the intimacy and no personal autonomy, that's a bad place to be. So I feel like as I get cooking in this kind of, career path of alchemizing the current landscape of education, which is like probably a multi-trillion-dollar industry. We think about how much these universities actually make to teach people garbage, pretty much. Yeah, as I go deeper to that, hopefully there is more time with friends or meetings, partnerships, businessy stuff, and it's like I got a full schedule and I'm going to prioritize that because I am actualizing this vision in my head, right? And then now all of these difficulties with relationships will likely just melt away because it's like I'm living my purpose, or I'm just so obsessed with actualizing what's in my imagination. That's probably going to be the solution to all of this, right? And it's going to be like you struggle during those relationships because one, you just need to learn to the contrast, and two, it's like those were your 20s when you were dealing with your insecurities, and you see how your insecurities just got you into a bunch of trouble, right? So that's kind of how I'm gonna wrap this one up. Relationships. We got 2 more days of relationships, or 20 more questions at least. And I'm like, ah! But it'll be good. It'll be good. All of this is good. I need to hear this stuff. I need to be real with myself. And that's what the kind of overarching thing is. The overarching thing. That thang-a-thang-thang. All right. Peace.